you really care about communicating ideas effectively. And you do a really good job at this on TikTok. For anyone who doesn't follow you, what is your handle on TikTok?
Expert speaker.
Okay, easy enough. So everybody should, grab their phones and follow you on TikTok if they're not already. But one of my favorite stories that you've posted on TikTok is just talking about different communication styles and like how it can make a difference. And I think this is something that you definitely embody. I remember us having this chat about how you were very passionate about certain words and how they can trigger you in different ways. But yeah, maybe let's start with that, which is how should people communicate? Because words are everything, right? The way you say
Yeah.
something can make all the difference.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to point out that you said the word should. And should is an expression of other people's values. So if you say, I should communicate a certain way, well, who says you should? Someone else? So the first thing I'll say is that speaking can be a mindfulness practice because you can speak very unconsciously, but when you're choosing every word intentionally, a little bit slower, a little bit thinking about how do you want to say the word, take a breath before you speak, and notice I look for language that takes responsibility versus language like it's a victim. Like if you say, man, I wish I could start a podcast, but I don't have time. How about I would love to start a podcast and I'm focusing my energies in other places and it's not my top priority right now. I'll always correct someone who says I don't have time because yes, you do. And you're choosing to invest your time in other ways. If someone ever says I have to, I say, no, you don't. You choose to, or you get to. I have to pick my kids up at 3 o'clock. If I'm not there at school, it's a problem. But I choose to pick up my kids at 3 o'clock, and I get to pick up my kids at 3 o'clock, and the vibe changes on each level. Have to, I'm a victim. Choose to, I'm in control. Get to, I'm in gratitude. So, and I have a whole series of this on TikTok called Magic Words. And each one of them are language replacements around time. I don't say the word unfortunately. I say the word as it turns out. Aydin, if I had to reschedule our podcast, I wouldn't say, oh, Aydin, unfortunately, I have to reschedule our podcast. I'd say, Aydin, as it turns out, I have another commitment and I propose this other time. I don't use the word but or the fancy version of but, which is however, because but cancels out the first statement. If I said, Aydin, I really like you. I think you're really smart, but geez, that's not very nice, right? If I'm trying to say, Aydin, I really like you, but when you're late to meetings, it pisses me off. I'm going to say, Aydin, I really like you. And I love it when you show on time to meetings. And sometimes you're showing up after our start time, and I feel a little upset about it. And instead of but. So practicing conscious word choice as a mindfulness practice and continuing to upgrade simply by asking, how can I say this more effectively? How can I say this in a way that's takes responsibility? Like, you make me feel does not take responsibility. I feel this way when this thing happens is a way of saying it and owning.